artist.
Oh wait, here's Ron Perlman. Hi, I get to interview you, sir.
Do you?
Yes. Well, when you're done.
You're going to find out some shit. You're not allowed to ask me any questions about Paris Barclay.
Last season,
This guy's very good.
I remember you said, why would you leave Clay alive? That's going to come back to bite you. But at the end of the season, it seemed like he was almost broken. By everyone that betrayed him, everything came back to bite him. How does that carry in the season? I mean, how does that, such a strong character, come back from what he went through at the end of that season?
Well, without revealing too much, because number one, I don't know the full answer to that. Number two, you all know that he ends up completely a man without a family, a country, a life, possession, everything that he's associated with himself with for the entire trajectory of his life has been taken from him. Not only that, but he's going into jail with a $5 million cash price on his head. So he might not even make it to jail. So the deck is stacked against him. Yesterday I was reading a tweet by Kurt Sutter, which is how I get most of my information. And they asked him in one word to describe each person's season 6 reality. So for me, he wrote redemption. So my sense is that regardless of what happens to Clay, for him the most important thing is now that he's lost everything and he's coming to peace with the fact that this could be the end of his run, not just as a president, but the final end. That he's a guy who needs to get his house in order for whatever comes. And that means making it right with everybody he knows and loves. I think what I'm starting to get a sense of the shape of this entire exercise. And the more I see, the more I think that Kurt is really doing an exploration of power and what that means and what it does to the holder of it, what he starts out to be, what he starts out to aspire to, and then what it ultimately does in terms of decaying him. And with Clay, you get to see the beginning of it, the middle of it, the end of it, and then the aftermath of it. I don't know about the other characters, where they're going to end up, but I don't know even where Clay's going to end up. But that's to me what I think is what season 6 is about anyway.
That is the best summary of exactly what's going on I've ever heard. Really, really. And do you believe in redemption? Do you believe someone after everything they've done, that Clay has done, can be redeemed? That's going to be the issue of season 6. Can you come back?
Do you think fans are truly hoping for that redemption of character for Clay?
Well, I just mentioned Twitter. I'm new to tweeting, and so I know now more than I ever thought I would know, and way more than I would like to know in terms of how the world feels about Clay Morrow. It's pretty brutal, man. I mean, I've had to up my Klonopin intake. I'm taking more Xanax now than ever. Valium to sleep. I Dexedrine to get up. It's hell, big Clay. But I signed on to be. If we're doing Hamlet, I'm Claudius, and that's what I signed on for. So, as uncomfortable as it can be, having people there's so many people who just, I want to see that motherfucker dead. I see it like 100 times a day or more. Probably for every 100 of those that I see one person go. It's kind of compelling to watch somebody as driven as that. He's really interesting, which is the way I've always tried to play him. Not as a bad guy, but as a guy who was driven to, like most kings, to unequivocally take care of what he's charged to do, which is keep his family autonomous, independent, safe, and unfucked with.
So speaking of fans, you've been part of so many hardcore fandoms. First Beauty and the Beast, and about Sons of Anarchy, how do you deal with some of the strong fan reactions you get as far as personally? You just spoke about this, but how does this fan reaction and interaction compare with your previous fandoms that you've been a part of? Is it better or worse? What do you think?
Well, Sons of Anarchy is far and away the most dramatic game changer in my life personally. Beauty and the Beast was really loved, but by a very small cult audience. Actually, Hellboy was as well, even though it was a big canvas. The movie was never a blockbuster. The first one or the second one. Sons of Anarchy is a blockbuster, and everywhere I go in the world, people know me. That never happened before. And people have really, really passionate reactions to the show. That never happened before. So yeah, it's been the most intense relationship with fandom that I've ever experienced. And now that I'm about to die, in real life, I'm glad I saw it.
When Clay does, get so dark and he's at his lowest ebb, how do you kind of empathise with it? Do you have to like him as an actor, or is that not an issue?
I have to like him as an actor. I have to. And it's been challenging sometimes I have to admire his actions because I have to play them with 100% conviction. And the thing about Clay is that he's the most unequivocal character I've ever played. I've always played guys that have self-doubt, that have a kind of duality, that kind of think about, well, yeah, but I see his point of view. Clay doesn't see his point of view. He sees his point of view. He's my way or the highway kind of guy, and he's unequivocal. And believe it or not, that's been the most challenging thing about playing him, is because I don't think like he does, and it's always requires a lot of adjustment. Yeah. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable.
So is there anything that you wish to see happen to Clay before his storyline is finished?
Well, I did this movie called Frankie Go Boom where I played a woman. I'm not going to say...
He was beautiful. He looked great.
The Part 2 is what you said.
On that note...